I grieved the loss of a child that I still had. Okay, you guys wanted me to kind of explain a little bit more about Gavin's regression. I'm going to try to get through this. I'm going to try to get through this. It's very emotional for me. I've talked about it a lot, but it doesn't really get. Anyways, so I met Gavin when he was about a year old, and this was one of the very first pictures. I just shared this the other day of him and I together. He was a brilliant kid. He was engaging and affectionate and all the things that kids are. And then sometime around his 4th birthday, it feels like he was put to bed Gavin, and he woke up somebody completely different. The regression was massive and global. It affected his speech, his motor skills, his cognitive ability. He withdrew. You know, he was no longer the kid that I had known for the previous 3 years. And you know, at first I think we kind of assumed that something was just wrong. Like we took him to the doctor, try and figure out what's going on. And it took years to try and figure this out. Ultimately, he was diagnosed with Childhood Disintegrative Disorder. Basically, everything develops typically, and then around the 3rd or 4th birthday, parents describe it as putting their kid to bed one person and they wake up somebody else. I know that sounds dramatic, but it really felt like he was abducted by aliens in the middle of the night. They cloned him and then put his clone back in his bed without any of his personality, because he looked the same, but he was absolutely different. I had to learn him all over again, right? And I grieved the loss of a child that I still had. There were periods of time along the way where we would get glimpses of him again. Usually, when he would run a high fever, all of the symptoms that he was experiencing would go away, and he came back. Right, he was the same kid he was before everything happened. And then, when the fever went away, so did he. That was torture. It was absolute torture. I almost wish it had just happened and then that was it. But for years, when he would run a fever, that would happen. And then we'd get to see him and then we'd lose him again.